Hey guys, Saga here, and in today's video I'm going to cover only one topic: position and then submission. So I first heard the phrase position and then submission when I was doing jiu-jitsu. And in jiu-jitsu it refers to one person's body position relative to the other person's body position, and certain positions are considered better because there are more attacks available, whereas the other person has to defend and escape the position and isn't really able to attack back. Now the interesting thing is that this concept is also prevalent in Overwatch. So a lot of the time people disregard the importance of positioning, and you get people running in without really thinking about their approach, without thinking about where the enemies are positioned, and try to kill the enemy team. And sometimes this is actually successful, and this is where people get the wrong idea that they're doing something good. And times where it is successful even though it shouldn't be, you either one, got lucky, or two, you have outclassed your opponent by so much that positioning doesn't matter anymore. And the problem is that mindsets like this are habit forming, where you'll disregard position and you'll just sort of stand wherever, or, you know, the worst possible thing is like when you're on defense and somebody goes way beyond your defensive perimeter in order to, I don't know, commit suicide. I never understand that move. But the idea here is that teams need to respect positioning, because if you are somewhat equal skilled, if matchmaking was working perfectly and you're up against somebody who is your equal skill level, positioning is going to help dictate this match. And if you are able to gain and maintain a better position, then you're going to win. So let's take a quick look here on Numbani. This is a match between NRG and Snake. I want you to notice where this group is all positioned. You've got the Winston on the left-hand side, you've got the Pharah in the back. Notice the Pharah is not peeking around the corner. How many pug games have you been in where Pharah has to peek around the corner? Like, it's like impulsive, they have to do it. And there's nothing you could say that will stop that Pharah from peeking around the corner. Now you might say, well, you can get an extra damage if you do that. That's true, but you risk dying, and defensively you need to be defensive. You'll notice Winston is positioned on the left-hand side so that when the team pushes through the choke, that the Reinhardt can stand in front of, that the Winston will land on them and do splash damage to all the team. Pharah is also positioned to the left so that she doesn't get taken out by anyone running up the road or from the right-hand side, and that this position for Pharah is the most advantageous to splash the entire enemy team. She's on their flank, so when they push through the door, they're going to have to turn to face her in order to deal with her. Okay, so stop right here. Notice this positioning. Notice how the entire team is waiting outside this door. No one's peeking forward. No one's trying to do little poking damage before the rest of the team is there. This is the difference between real team coordination and the pseudo team coordination you get in pickup games. They're going to go in all at once. And the reason that this fight is going down here, the reason that they are pushing through this door as opposed to walking up the street, is because the street is an incredibly long sight line that would be very easy for the defending team to pick off the attackers. So instead they're pushing through one doorway where they can fight at a centralized point and fight for the high ground. If one team is able to get the high ground, they're able to get the point. They're worried more about getting the position first and then going for the submission. One final point. Think about Numbani. Think about Numbani's map, how it's set up. Think about how you as an attacker need to approach. There's three main paths. There's the road, there's the doorway on the second floor, and then there's the back path. If you hold the second floor doorway on the opposite side as the defensive team, you effectively cover all of those approaches. If you're going up the road, then you just shoot at them as they're going up the road, which is probably the worst of the attack routes. If they go from behind, they have to approach you on the high ground, which is your advantage. And if they close in on you or go under you, you can simply drop down on them. Or they can try to contest you in that hallway, fight for the second floor, which is probably their best option because it immediately contests the high ground. Now there is also one last path that I forgot to mention, but it is through the Mines of Moria and underneath the underneath path, the underway, the underworld. Through the building. Now the through the building path is kind of a cluster. It's very difficult to push because you can just sort of spray bullets into this one very confined space, and by the time that the other team has ults up, it becomes even more dangerous. But imagine that path for a second. So say you take it first push, there's no chance of ults. Is it dangerous? Yes, it's still dangerous because once again, they're on the high ground. You're going to have to come out of there at some point. You're giving them an easy area for them to spray bullets into, and then when you come out, they can drop down on top of you again. So really, you need to take the path that contests the high ground. So really, from the attacker's perspective, there is probably the best attacker being the second floor. I mean, teams will mix it up, they will push street and things like that, but it's different disadvantages, and personally, I think the best path to take is the second floor door because it leads directly to the high ground, which is what your team wants. Alright guys, sorry for the brevity of this video. I'm feeling a bit under the weather. I have a massive migraine at the moment, and I'm going to go relax. If you guys are new here, I make Overwatch content, I make Hearthstone content, I travel the world, and soon I'll be making some short movies and things, so if you want to see that, please subscribe, stick around, leave me some comments. I'll see you later. Underpath, the